Just read the question out, sir. Don't explain, because that would be self-explanatory. Just read the question out, sir.
This is a query with respect to verse 9 of Isavasyupanishad.
Yes, sir.
As the Guru highlights, those who revel in Vidya, which is a spiritual pursuit and corresponding enjoyment, enter into greater darkness than those who revel in Avidya, worldly pursuit and enjoyment. Is the chance and possibility for taking corrective step to realize the ultimate truth higher or easier for those reveling in avidya than the former, those who revel in vidya?
Just, Rajima, post that question in the chat box. Right. Now, what, going by the mantra, what Hariji is asking is it better off to be attached to the world than to the spiritual world? Because the spiritual world, we said you are in greater darkness. It's a greater attachment. The material world is darkness and it is ordinary attachment. So is it not easier, given a choice, better be attached to the world with reference to attaining enlightenment? Is it not easier here than that? Am I right?
Yeah, because
have I understood you correctly? Don't explain.
Yeah.
No, we just want the question, because explanation is not required. If I don't understand you, I'll seek clarification. Okay, sir. No, certainly not. You're very wrong in asking that question.
Yeah.
Getting attached to the world, which is known as avidya, which is ignorance, is inferior. Means a person who's attached to the world, the mundane pursuits of name, fame, one who wants to aggrandize wealth, is attached to his worldly possessions. One who's attached to the world, he's attached to ignorance, which is avidya, which is lower. So one who has renounced the lower, such a person alone will be able to appreciate a life of a pursuit of the higher. So you must renounce the world to embark on the spiritual pursuit. That's why I said this mantra is meant for a very small minority of spiritual seekers who have truly upasate, who only worship the self. You can't say, I will worship my business 20%, I'll worship my family 40%, I'll worship my social life 20%, and balance 5.5% I'll invest in the self. You are trying to do investments in the self. Upasate, worship, is 100%. So how many of you are able to devote your entire life, time, energy, resource to the pursuit of the self? That's why I said a very small percentage fit into this mantra. So you can only become a truly spiritual person only when you have stopped the pursuit of the self. Means you understand the futility and the littleness in what the world has to offer. Intellectually, you understand. Philosophically, you experience it. There's nothing more to tempt you or draw you away from the higher. There's nothing more to tempt you or draw you away from that which lies beyond the terrestrial. So you have dropped the lower, which is the world, which is avidya, and then embarked on the pursuit of vidya, which is higher. Now the mantra is only saying that if you have, because you find there's far greater joy in the spiritual practices, there is a far greater chance of you developing an attachment or bondage to spiritual activities than your mundane worldly activities. Now, that does not mean that, as you say in the question, That does not mean that those who are reveling in avidya have a greater chance to realize the truth. No, not at all. In fact, those who are detached to the material world can only reach the state of getting to the spiritual world. You get it? So the first step is you must be detached to the world. They have achieved it. The sad part is they have developed an attachment to the spiritual world. So the master is only cautioning us, do not develop an attachment. This is just the path. Go beyond it and get to the goal, which is realization. That's all the message is. So that it is wrong to say so. That's what my one word answer is. But I've explained it. Yes.
Guruji, given a condition that I am already attached, definitely we should not attach neither to vidya nor avidya. The very process of attachment itself is wrong, that I understand. But given a condition that A is attached to avidya and B is attached to vidya, these are two existing conditions. In that existing condition, is it not easier for the person who is reveling in vidya to come out, avidya to come out of it? Because in avidya he will be undergoing suffering that remains, whereas in case of vidya he will never undergo suffering. He is reveling in it. This is existing condition, not that A is going to get attached. He is already attached and B is attached in vidya. The B attached to vidya, he will never undergo a suffering because he enjoys that path itself. And he is thinking that is the end of it. Whereas in case of A, he will be undergoing suffering because he is attached to the world.
Sir, you are reiterating a point. I understand your genuine concern. No guru can help you if you're attached to the material world. But all the wisdom and knowledge and guru will help you if you're attached to the spiritual world. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So you have reached that point where you have reached where no other person reaches. So you're far more closer to the goal than one who's attached to the world.
Okay.
So it's like a journey and a destination. Let's say if you have to travel 500 miles or 500 kilometers, if you're at the 50th kilometer away from the starting point, and you're 450 odd kilometers away from the destination, vis-a-vis, you already traversed over 450, 475 kilometers. You just got another 20 odd kilometers to go. Who is going to reach the destination soon?
Okay.
You tell me. A fellow who is stuck at the 50th mile or one who's at the 475th mile? Far closer. Just a push or a nudge, he'll be there. So a person who is here, a far greater chance of getting to the goal because he's already done all the tapas, sir. Aneka janma, sir, understand, if you want to completely be detached to the material world, you must do aneka janma tapas. One janma tapas is not easy.
Okay.
So you culminate all your spiritual sadhana, then you will be totally detached to all that the world has to offer.
Okay.
And you're holding that in a lighter note. That's why I said the question undermines the whole message of the mantra. It's only a caution. He's just saying, be careful, man, you might develop attachment. That's all he's saying. You're almost putting the whole concept ulta here.
Okay.
Please, you have to again come back to ulta.
Okay.
Ulta from your ulta position. Then you'll come Sida.
Okay.
Correct, huh?
No. That is.
When somebody is in ulta, you have to say again, go ulta.
Yeah, sure.
It's like you're going in a direction and you've taken a U-turn and gone opposite direction. What will you tell him? Again, take a U-turn, pa.
Okay.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
This is a warning to people who are attached to Vidya.
That's
sort of a
which
caution.
is a very small percentage.
Okay.
Very small. So
Okay.
I would say, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Because it may not be fit to you and me, sir. Why are we racking our head here?
No, not me. Don't compare me with
I'm
you.
not. I'm including myself into you also. What I'm saying is, it may not. I have better things to worry about. Bigger things to worry about. What I'm attached to. Why am I thinking of something where I'm not there yet?
Okay.
I'm not being pessimistic or cynical here. I'm only trying to tell. The accent is, you are having an affair with the world.
Okay. Okay.
So Hariji, all I was mentioning is, worldly pursuits are lower, are avidya, are ignorance. Spiritual pursuits are higher, which is vidya, which is knowledge. So the verse, the mantra is saying, you are content with having affair with the world, the terrestrial world. You are groping in darkness. If you mark the mantra, if you read the translation as well, he says those who are attached to the vidya are as it were into greater darkness. He doesn't say they are in greater darkness. He says as it were. It is only implication. It's not that you are literally are in. So if you, what protects us from the misunderstanding is, he says as it were. Iva. Tato bhuya ivate. Imagine the iva is not there, then you can literally say this fellow is in greater darkness. This fellow is a inferior fellow than with avidya fellow. No. So the word, that Sanskrit word iva protects us. Tato bhuya ivate tamoya u vidhyaya gurataha. So the word iva, please underline that, Hariji. Bold it and underline it. That will, don't cancel it, sir. Underline, sir. Huh? Right, sir. Okay. Ramji, you clarified something. Is that all okay? Last week, I thought you wanted to raise a point in the context.
No, sir. I think it was all right. I got it clarified that so between vidya and avidya is there a stage, and then that's
yes.
where actually we wanted to. So I think you told us about the tunnel vision and things like that. That is a stage where you have to reach the end of the tunnel. You can't live in the tunnel. So you have to find the truth eventually. You have to come out of the tunnel. So I think you gave all those examples. So that was very clear.
Okay, sir. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
We are often told quoting the great experience or example narrated by the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He talks of a sense of suffocation that is a sign of a spiritual aspirant. You must constantly experience a sense of restlessness, a sense of suffocation, where you are right now, with what you are dealing with in life. You must experience a sense of suffocation. Imagine if you can imagine you wear 2-3 masks and you are doing physical exercise. Imagine you're climbing stairs. I tell you to climb 10 stairs. You have the stamina. Climbing 10 floors is no big deal for you. You'll climb effortlessly. But imagine you wear these masks and you walk. You feel very claustrophobic. You feel breathless because you're not giving enough oxygen. That kind of feel, or you're getting a claustrophobic feel in a cramped place. You feel restless, uncomfortable, isn't it? Just to draw a similarity of that restless and uncomfortable feel, a claustrophobic feel, to where you life. That is the most crucial element that ensures whether you are merely content in life with what you are dealing with, or you want to explore that which lies beyond the false contentment that you're experiencing. That restlessness. Every human in this world is just living a life of contentment, which is nothing but a false contentment. Only a small percentage of people in the world are allured to these brighter worlds, as we say. They are allured to pursue the higher. Only a small percentage. Majority of people are quite content with the worldly affairs, what the world has to offer. Only when you find a sense of disgust, literal disgust with what life is. Come on, I just can't be holding on to these things and just find contentment in that. Feel a sense of suffocation. So if you're not feeling that suffocation, something is wrong with you. That's all I'm saying. You must feel that suffocation. You must feel that uneasiness. You get what I'm saying, isn't it? So the effect, in effect, the essence of the mantra is whatever you do in life, remember to cultivate and maintain an attitude of detachment. You may have a certain attitude, but you may have to cultivate further. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you have to cultivate this attitude of detachment to it while you're doing your duty and dharma towards it. You can be a son, you can be a father, you can be a manager, you can be a guru. Whatever roles you have to play, you have to play that role. That is your dharma. But while doing your dharma, you've got to tell, I have got nothing to do with it. I've got nothing to do with it. You will give every ounce of energy into it, but then you say, I've got nothing to do with it. Because if you do not practice detachment to the material world, it is impossible to practice detachment in the spiritual world. So you have to pass through this initial phase of being detached to the worldly affairs. So again, I'm saying this mantra is a caution. So once you reach that state, you will find yourself more drawn away, because the joy you derive from worldly activities is far inferior to the joy you derive in worldly activities. I must tell you, the joy you derive in acquiring for yourself vis-a-vis the joy and courage you get when you work for a higher cause is outstanding. Mm. I didn't tell anybody. I've not told any one of you. But there's a lady, I don't think she's there. It makes it comfortable for me to say so. I don't want to mention name nor unnecessarily embarrass her, but she, a very well-to-do family, very respected in the society. She is very much aware of the project that we embarked in. She went into the colony where she resides. She knocked at the doors of those whom she knew, and she felt where she could approach. Knocked at the doors and asked for contributions for the cause. I didn't tell her to do that. I was shocked and amazed by the effort she put in. It's not what she raised, it's the effort she put in. That's exactly my comments were to those who shared the news. Just unparalleled thought. Just to go door to door and knock at people and say, we are doing something good, can you help? And she got help, by the way. She got a lot of help, whatever she could. Would you be able to do that when you ask for yourself? Where? It's just identification with the cause. You are here sitting and receiving it coming your way. I would be uncomfortable if I'm not doing anything for the cause. That is the kind of restlessness I'm saying. If I kept receiving and receiving and receiving and not do anything for the cause, it should cause, as if I'm sitting on fire. There must be restlessness. Those people outside temples, they have these fire furnaces, literally. They have this coal and is a little furnace, and they do various prayers and run through that a short stretch in the name of God, and they don't feel their feet burning. That apart, you should feel that sense of as if you're sitting on fire, man. That restlessness should be there. Now you are sitting comfortable in a couch and just receiving because it's coming your way. That is tamas. Would you do that if your family is in need? Would you do that if your family is in a crisis? If you're not stepping out of a comfort zone and trying to serve a cause, it's tamas. It's sheer tamas. You got to shed it to even get into rajas, then think of sattva. I'm not talking because of any negativity towards anything or anybody. I'm only trying to tell you what is that feeling when you are a taker, and what is that the drive, that energy you get when you are when you identify with the higher cause. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. The dhyana slokas we chant this paramanandam. There's so much joy, anandam, not just anandam, paramanandam. It's a superior joy. And what is the power of this knowledge? It can make a mute speak. It can make a lame scale mountain. It can make you achieve the impossible. What are we talking about? Getting something done. The most impossible is possible when you identify with a cause. So you should not remain cold to the cause. If you remain cold, you are not ready for this knowledge. That's why I'm saying discomfort, uncomfortable. Man, a giver is uncomfortable because he wants to be a giver. A taker is exactly as a taker is uncomfortable to give. In the same way, the giver is uncomfortable to take. The same restlessness. If I tell a taker to give, Ushama, US, If I tell, and then UK also, I want both S and K. What is the discomfort? If you tell a taker to give, what is the discomfort he'll feel?
He's not in the, he's not used to giving, Guruji. So he will feel very, I mean, why should I give? That miserliness and why am I asked to give? That kind of feeling.
A miserly feeling, he'll feel uncomfortable, isn't it? Become, in fact, that whole conversation becomes very uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yes.
You can't even have a conversation with people who are takers. They can't give. And in fact, they promise to give, they never give.
Yeah.
They're not givers, they're takers. They unfeel. In fact, you can't talk of the subject, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
You can't even approach such people.
You can't even approach such people. And it's relative. Each of us have the limitation in us, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
US.
Guruji, there was a question which you had asked us to think about.
Conveniently, you didn't remind me earlier. Huh?
No, I was waiting for you to finish.
I know.
Finish
You will say
talking.
this. I will not finish talking. I will keep on prattling. You will have to say, Guruji, stop talking, and we have something to say. So, yes, I know. I was reminded of the question. I was getting to that. Glad you did remind me as well. But the point I'm saying is that the discomfort, the uneasiness you feel, it takes to, if he's encouraged to give, he's told to give, asked to give, there's a certain, he steps back, isn't it? There's a resistance. Exactly the same discomfort a giver would feel if he adorns the stance of a taker. So one who is inspired by a higher cause will not be content with just thinking of himself or herself. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when a taker receives something, he feels a sense of guilt also that I've not given, why am I taking it? There's a sense of
discomfort. It's not the question of giving or taking, it's the question of whether identifying with a higher cause or you're thinking of yourself. That's the point. All I said of that lady I mentioned is she could identify with a cause and do something which you, if I tell you, Sharma, we're doing something good, and I've been your guest, I don't even know how many number of times I've come and even stayed at your home and all. So I know you have lived in that locality for 40, 50, 60 years. If I tell you, Ma, we're doing something good, yes, Guruji, I know what you're doing. Can you just go around the locality and ask for some support? Guruji, I know you're doing good, but I would rather feel uncomfortable to do that, isn't it? That lady did that. That's amazing. That's amazing. You ask me, would I do that? I do not know. Would I go into my neighborhood and ask and knock at doors and tell? I'll be uncomfortable. I will not knock at your door and ask. I'm uncomfortable asking you. Each of you are uncomfortable. But that is the power of attuning to a larger cause. Okay. Yes. So yes, Ma, you're reminding of the question. What was the question? I suppose you have an answer also for that. Huh?
there is far greater joy in giving than keeping and aggrandizing. Explain.
There's a far greater joy in giving than keeping and aggrandizing. How is it so? Please explain.
I can't think of many, but whatever I have. When you give, you become very unselfish, and the more unselfish you become joyous.
What's the question? No, what's the question?
There is far greater joy in giving than keeping and aggrandizing. So
And
when
what have you
keep-
done? And what have you done in the answer? Explain first statement.
when
You-
you give, there is more joy. You feel you become unselfish when you are giving.
Okay. Okay. All those statements, if you write the question and the answer of what you said in the first line, all of that is in the question itself. So actually, you're very smartly repeated the question to us in a different tense, and we think, oh my God, yes, it is so true. Huh?
Why?
You only changed the grammar. Only one word you added is unselfish into that. Otherwise, the rest is the question only.
Yeah, you become unselfish, you become joyous because you are nearing the self.
Correct. This is the sign of reaching a very high spiritual status. So I can't communicate any further. Correct, Amitama?
Yes, sir. Absolutely correct. So
Yeah,
remember you went through in detail with us Gibran's poem on giving.
Khalil Gibran, yes,
Yeah.
a time ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the answers are there. So we become like nature. Life gives into life. To hold and to withhold is to perish. You know. So I feel that the poem resonates with this question. It
completely does. I think we have shared that excerpt from Khalil Gibran in this group, Rajima. Have we shared that ever before? Even if we have, just get hold of that and please share the excerpt of Khalil Gibran on giving. You know that it's an unparalleled, fantastic piece of philosophy or literature. It's so astounding. I'm very enthused to get into it, but then it would just take another whole class. Maybe we'll get into it someday. But Amitama is talking of we going through it in another class with that group, where he says is withhold is to perish.
Withhold is to perish. Yeah.
Perish, yes.
And to become an instrument of giving. Right?
Correct. Be worthy of being a giver first, then sitting in judgment whether is the recipient worthy of receiving, and so on and so forth. Yes. Yes, sir. So you will hear a comment from a giver. Setuji? Hariom, sir.
One of the experiences I feel is those who have it is like a big baggage, and when you give, not only you get joy, you are unburdening yourself brick by brick. That feeling also I have got. Actually, the more you give, the more you unburden, and you revel. It's actually,
sir, I would request you to not use the word revel, at least when we in mantra 9, sir. Rest of the time you can say, because the mantra says do not revel, it says. Correct, huh?
Yeah.
Right. No, please go ahead, sir.
That's all I just wanted to share. Because
absolutely,
the people who are aggrandizing, they are thinking they are becoming more and more secure and more desired, but it is on, they have not started giving. They don't know. They have, sometimes they give because it is as a CSR obligation or to get some fame and name, and with a hidden agenda they give. But those who give voluntarily, that whoever gives, they only know that joy, that experience, and it makes them give more and more. And it also feeling of unburdening the baggage.
Yes, in fact, very well said. If you had asked me the answer, my answer to the question was, this can't be explained. You experience it yourself. Any amount of explanation is of no use. I will teach not just Khalil Gibran, but entire Shastras on what they say on giving, but it will not help you understand. Just experience it. He who sees it, sees it. It can't, there are certain things which can't be conveyed. You can't convey that elevated experience. It's impossible. It's impossible. So just experience it. So just to experience it, you got to start simply blindly start giving. Blindly. Just start giving. It's such a feel, I tell you, you can't. Christ says, blessed are those who have a heart to give. Means they have a natural disposition. Huh? Oh, and as Arunama is typing it, I said that, blessed Arunama you are. Huh? As I said that, I saw her comment. Yes, Arunama. So true, isn't it? Blessed are those who have heart to give. Now here we are trying to philosophize and cultivate that attitude to give. One who has a natural disposition to give, they are blessed, isn't it?
Yes, Guruji. I feel it is an innate quality in people. Not everybody can part with things or themselves without any expectations. And people who have those quality, I feel it's part of their vasanas. They are born with it. So I feel it's a blessings, a divine quality in them. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. Yes, it is a part of their vasana. It is a part of their dharma. It's a part of their purva karma. So a giver is far superior than a taker. So in order to raise to the level of a giver, you have to do great karma to reach there. And it is not, we're not talking of parting with writing checks and giving standard instructions to your deduction from the bank account. You're not talking of that kind of giving. Materiality is the lowest form of giving you can do. What we're giving is to be a giver is different from giving. That you must differentiate. There's a difference in being a giver vis-a-vis giving. You may give on occasions, but you may not be a giver. There's a difference. There's a world of difference. Yes, Arunama, very true.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Yes. Yes, Setuji, something else to say?
Guruji, this actually, lately when I do approach, talk to a lot of people and seek donations for various causes, and when I am very, very selective, but sometimes when I know they can afford and they are having a soft corner for that cause, but somehow they don't come forward to give. At that time, I feel very compassionate about them. I feel they are missing the joy. Why they are missing the joy? And I feel, and I am telling, I feel now, we are doing great service to people by asking them to give. Actually, we want them to also share this joy. So it is not a big, we should not feel too bad about it in asking people, because ultimately I know some friends whom I have asked and they are given in a big way for various causes. They always thank me, thanks to you. I was inspired, and I was in, they all want to know deserving causes. They want genuine people whom we will watch. So before I ask, I first give for that cause, experience, and see that it is a deserving. And they say we are always, we want to give, but we don't know which is deserving. And we are in a dilemma, and we are also attached. But so this is actually people should put little effort, and they will be thanked, because all the time we are thinking what they will think when we ask. But it is on the other hand, they will thank you for having approached them. This is my experience.
I also thank you for sharing, sir. Thank you, Ji. Arpit Ji, welcome back to the group. We've been missing you.
Hari Om Guruji. How are you?
I've been very upset, sir. Now
Upset?
I'm little.
I'm sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
now I'm feeling little comfortable that now I've seen you.
Oh, good.
Huh?
I'm also happy to be back. Happy to be
Good, sir.
back.
Good, good. All well with the concept resonating with you?
Yes. Yes, very much. So it feels like the concept is we get caught up in the reveling, right? As opposed to getting caught up in the true meaning, right? The core, the truth. We get caught up in it's a different kind of fascination, between knowledge and ignorance, but we get caught up in that fascination as opposed to the core thing. So that, very much resonates, because I find myself also getting caught up sometimes in just the words or the scripture, or, the lyrical aspect of it. And that's really not the profound wisdom that we need to seek out. We have to be careful, as a matter of fact. So no, it absolutely resonates.
Yeah, I'm glad. So please don't leave us, RPG. Yeah?
No, I shan't.
Yeah, good. Right, sir. Kamalji, yes, you had approached the other day. You wanted to clarify something, which I did remark in the 8th mantra. Is that what you said, sir?
Yeah. It was, unfortunately, I missed few classes, so I was listening the recording, so I had some confusion. So I thought I'll clarify with you. So I was not sure it will be appropriate in the class.
No, please, no problem. Yes.
Yeah, in the recording you had mentioned about the 3 states, and you talked about the Turiya as a state and the experience of the Turiya state and relationship of Turiya state to the other 3 states. So again, this confusion is my mind, maybe because of my lack of knowledge, or maybe I'm not understanding the context from which you are thinking from. But as for my understanding, Turiya is really not a state. In fact, it is the living thing. It is the thing which empowers the other 3 states, and it is present in all 3 states. And it's something which cannot be experienced directly, but indirectly through other states we can experience it. So in my understanding was that. So when I heard the recording, so I had slight confusion. Maybe you were thinking from some different context, which you wanted to highlight. So maybe that may be the reason why I had the confusion.
Okay. I'm not able to recall exactly the context, but I think while I was explaining the concept of all pervasiveness, I think Paryagat, while explaining that concept, we said that space is all pervasive. And then we said space pervades the waking state, the dream, and deep sleep. But that definition of Paryagat, all pervasive, cannot be space, because the mantra in the 8th mantra, when he's talking about Brahman. So to differentiate that, we said Brahman not only pervades the waking, dream, deep sleep, it also permeates into the 4th state, where space doesn't exist. Okay. So I think in that context, in the mantra 8, if I can recall, we brought in the concept of the 3 states and the 4th state. But as you rightly said, your understanding is right, that the 4th state, which is Turiya, is not something which can be experienced from a conditioned state. It's actually a becoming. You reach that state of enlightenment. So you can't conceive that, nor can you feel it, nor perceive it from a state of conditioning. So I still think your understanding is right, but the only context where we brought this out was differentiate between space and Brahman, where it permeates, where it doesn't. If there's something more than this, I could be happy if you can send me the exact timing or the concept, exactly what I'm talking about. Then we could clarify it further. But I think your understanding is right, sir. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was not that. I was just thinking that maybe I was understanding slightly.
No, your understanding is right. Your understanding is right. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.